Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something you've probably walked through dozens of times without ever really thinking about its true purpose. I'm talking about the modern airport. We're going to break down the hidden economy of these massive spaces, peeling back the layers to see how they actually operate as highly optimized commercial ecosystems.
So let's kick things off with a massive question, one that'll probably make you completely rethink everything you know about the aviation industry. Who actually profits more, the airlines or the airport? Now, when you buy a ticket, you know you're paying the airline, right? You sit on their plane. But as we're about to see, the airport actually has its hands in almost every single transaction that happens, from the exact moment you leave your house to the moment your wheels leave the tarmac.
Okay, let's dive right into this, because there's a huge misconception out there that airports only make their money when planes are taking off and landing. But the reality? Well, it's way more complex than that. The airport itself is this multi-layered profit-generating machine, cashing in on practically every single move you make. It isn't just a runway, it's literally a giant business engineered for continuous, non-stop revenue.
Section 1. The Retail and Restaurant City.
You see, an airport essentially operates just like a small commercial city. It really isn't just a transit hub to get you from point A to point B. Instead, it's an environment engineered specifically for maximum passenger spending. Think about it for a second. You've got this totally captive audience of people who are walking, waiting, and let's be honest, often incredibly bored. That sheer volume of people creates incredibly valuable foot traffic, and the airport capitalizes on absolutely every single minute of your time there.
Every single shop, coffee stand, duty-free store, and restaurant you pass, they all pay a massive premium just for access to you, the traveler. They are literally paying the airport rent just to be in your line of sight. And all that repetition you see across terminals, that is entirely by design. It just goes to show that the airport is fundamentally built for spending, not just acting as some giant waiting room until your gate opens.
Which brings us to Section 2, charging for every move.
Now, on the operational side, airlines don't just pay some simple little toll to use the runway. I mean, sure, the airport collects landing and takeoff fees, absolutely, but airlines also have to pay for the gates, the parking stands, and the passenger handling areas. Every single time an airline operates within that space, they are paying to utilize this whole massive operational infrastructure system.
Stepping back into the terminal for a moment, you'll start to realize that terminal design is actually highly psychological. Have you ever noticed how the walking paths just sort of naturally guide you into waiting areas, which then inevitably bleed right into the food courts and commercial zones? You are literally being funneled through retail. And this strategic layout? No accident at all. These flow zones are deliberately built to capture your attention and actively trigger spending at every single step of your journey.
It all really boils down to one golden rule. The longer people stay in the commercial zone, the more money the airport generates. When you're stuck with a 2-hour layover, you aren't just sitting quietly in a chair, right? You're probably buying an $8 bottle of water, maybe grabbing a magazine, or browsing electronics just to kill time. All of these items are perfectly positioned to capitalize on that exact window of passenger dwell time.
Moving right along to Section 3, the Parking and Transit Goldmine.
Think for a second about the sheer acreage dedicated just to vehicles outside the terminal walls. You've got short-term, long-term, premium lots, plus those massive employee garages. Travelers are leaving their cars there for days on end, which creates this massive, incredibly steady flow of passive income. In fact, parking consistently ranks as one of the absolutely most important non-aeronautical revenue streams for airports all across the globe.
But wait, this whole ecosystem extends way beyond just parking garages. Airports also collect fees from pretty much all connected transport. We're talking taxis, shuttles, car rentals, and ride shares. Because all of these transport systems are intrinsically tied to passenger arrivals and departures, before a traveler even steps foot inside those sliding terminal doors, the airport has already figured out a way to monetize their journey.
And that brings us to our final analysis, Section 4, why the airport wins.
You see, terminals, check-in desks, baggage systems, and cargo zones aren't just necessary infrastructure, they're essentially giant toll booths. Airlines and commercial tenants absolutely must pay for access to all of these foundational elements. It's this brilliant model where strong infrastructure investment directly and continually supports immense profit.
And because of this infrastructure, you get this incredibly powerful compounding effect. Think about it. A better airport naturally attracts more airlines, which in turn brings in way more passengers. Then those extra passengers naturally attract more retail tenants and commercial partners, creating this continuous, highly lucrative loop.
It's a system where strong infrastructure actively builds profit for the airport.
And this brilliantly illustrates the staggering difference when you compare the two business models side by side. An airline's revenue is actually relatively narrow. It's mainly tickets, baggage fees, and a few extra services. But the airport, wow, their revenue is incredibly diversified, pulling in money from flights, parking, retail leases, shopping, transit, and infrastructure usage. The airport is just earning from a much, much wider system.
So going back to our opening question, this is exactly why the airport ultimately wins. It has the stronger, way more stable business model because it doesn't just rely on a single income stream like trying to sell seats on a plane. It monetizes the flight, absolutely, but it also monetizes your time, your movement, where you park, how you get there, and pretty much every single dollar you spend while you're waiting around.
Our source material summarizes it perfectly, stating, "The airport is not just where the journey starts. It is a business ecosystem built to turn movement into money." So the next time you walk through those automatic sliding doors and grab a quick coffee before your flight, take a good look around. Are you just waiting for a plane, or are you functioning perfectly as a data point in someone else's massive commercial ecosystem? Thanks so much for joining this explainer, and we'll see you next time.